There's no denying that Harry Potter is one of the most magical series ever written. The universe that J.K. Rowling created is expansive and full of wonder, but with the world so huge and detailed, sometimes seemingly small details slip our attention. Even J.K. Rowling herself has admitted that the story has more than a few plot holes, even if maybe a few die-hard fans won't. But while some of these mysteries will likely remain forever unsolved, a vast number of the more frustrating inconsistencies have been explained away in the years since the books were published. From the presence of Peter Pettigrew to the conspicuously invisible Thestrals, here are 6 of the biggest plot holes from Harry Potter explained. Before we get started, if you're not already, make sure to smash that subscribe button and hit the bell icon so that you can be notified every time we upload a new video, which, if you haven't heard, will now be every Sunday and Thursday. Let's get into it. The VERITASERUM CONUNDRUM. VERITASERUM is a powerful truth potion that renders anyone who takes it not only unable to tell a lie, but also unable to remain silent when asked a question. Obviously, this would make it an exceptionally useful tool when the Ministry is interrogating suspects. But do they use it as an investigative tool? No, that would be ridiculous. It would have been particularly useful in separating Voldemort's true followers from those who were under the Imperius Curse, a problem that several characters reference throughout the series. Using VERITASERUM would have been way more useful than even the most advanced Muggle lie detectors. Though the potion's use is strictly controlled, it's confusing why there can't be exceptions made when needed. Just think about how many people could have survived the Wizarding Wars or not ended up in Azkaban when wrongly convicted. It's unclear why VERITASERUM couldn't be used to provide evidence and save innocent lives. Also, the use of VERITASERUM isn't guaranteed with everyone. Occlumens like Snape can resist its effect as they are skilled at shielding their minds from invasion. So it appears that as powerful as VERITASERUM is, any testimony given while under its influence would have to be taken with a grain of salt. Even if they were under the effects of a truth serum, anyone would be foolish to take the word of a Death Eater. It might just be the last thing they do. This somewhat explains why VERITASERUM couldn't be used to weed out the real Death Eaters from those who claimed they had only done Voldemort's bidding under the influence of the Imperius Curse during the First Wizarding War. Wormtail and the Marauders map. Considering the Weasley twins stole the Marauders map from Filch during their first year at Hogwarts, it seems strange that they never noticed Peter Pettigrew, who at that time was still posing as Scabbers, sleeping in Ron's bed every night once their little brother arrived at school. Imagine Ron trying to explain that one away. Why is there another guy sleeping in your bed every night? Especially if they had never heard of Pettigrew. The map shows the location of every person at Hogwarts as well as their real name, even if they're disguised or hidden. Remarkably, Harry, Fred, and George never realize there is another name sleeping in Ron and Harry's dormitory every night. It's unlikely that Fred and George wouldn't have wanted to spy on their little brother, if for no other reason than to mess with him. It's not completely outside the realm of possibility though that Fred, George, and Harry simply never noticed Peter's name. As we saw with Harry, he usually was checking the map for anything that would interfere with his present misadventures. After all, Hogwarts is a pretty big place and they were likely uninterested in learning about their dorms. Dormitories? Boring. Did someone say snooze? The Missing Thestrals. When Harry arrives at Hogwarts for his 5th year, he realizes that the school's carriages aren't drawn by magic, but by magical creatures known as Thestrals. We know they can only be seen by people who've seen death. You know, like Harry did during the Triwizard Tournament. It seems like Harry should have been able to see the Thestrals when the carriages transported him to Hogsmeade Station at the end of the Goblet of Fire. We know that in order to see the Thestrals, you need to have seen death with your own eyes. That's why they weren't immediately visible to Harry when he first started Hogwarts. Because when his parents were murdered, he didn't actually see it, he only heard his mother die. According to JKR, You need time to let the fact of death set in, and you need some time to pass between seeing the death and seeing the Thestrals, so that you've internalized what you saw. Seems like a bit of a stretch to me, but then again, this is magic that we're dealing with. Destroying Horcruxes. Basilisk venom is one of the few substances that can destroy Horcruxes, so how did the Horcrux inside Harry survive its encounter with the basilisk in the chamber? It should have been destroyed when Harry was bitten by the giant serpent. Rowling revealed a Horcrux can only be destroyed if its container is damaged beyond repair. Harry was healed by Fawkes. Had he died, the Horcrux would indeed have been destroyed. What about the Resurrection Stone though? It still worked for Harry after Dumbledore used Godric Gryffindor's sword to destroy the Horcrux inside Marvolo Gaunt's ring. JKR took to Twitter to confirm that the crack in the stone was irreplaceable. Only Dumbledore could have extracted the soul fragment but left the original charm intact. James or Lily Potter could have been their own secret keepers. The reason Harry's parents were murdered by Voldemort was because he was able to find their hiding place after their secret keeper Peter Pettigrew betrayed their location and broke the Fidelius charm. But why did James Potter choose one of his friends to perform the charm when he could have been his own secret keeper? In the Deathly Hallows, it was revealed Bill Weasley and Arthur Weasley became their own secret keepers. Since the most foolproof form of protection would be if the secret keeper stayed in the protected home, why couldn't James or Lily have performed the charm themselves? Though some could argue that James trusted his friends completely and would not question their ability to become secret keepers, there is no satisfying answer as to why he himself did not become the secret keeper. If he was the one that held the secret of their location, then Voldemort wouldn't find them, would never succeed in murdering Lily, who provided the protection to Harry, which ultimately led to his own defeat. Even so, James knew that Voldemort was hell-bent to find and kill them, so he would acknowledge the fact that making one of his friends be the secret keeper would put him in grave danger. This might just be an intentional plot hole that drives the entire series. Wizard children learn no basic skills. Harry and the other Muggle-raised witches and wizards are all taught at least basic math, reading and writing skills before attending Hogwarts. But once they get to Hogwarts, their Muggle education is done, never to be heard of again. During the 7 years spent at Hogwarts, they are never taught any of these skills that you would think would be crucial in their learning. Students from magical families don't even go to school until they're at least 11 years old and receive their letter from Hogwarts. How do they even know how to read and write in preparation for Hogwarts? Or understand their spellbooks for that matter? And what about math? Imagine trying to understand potions with no basic understanding of science or math. In Snape's class, I wouldn't wish that on anyone. Is this the main reason Ron needs Hermione to help him so often with his schoolwork, since he was never taught to read or write? I think with this one we would just have to assume that the learning is done at home with their parents before they attend Hogwarts. Now that's not exactly a flawless system, is it?